I was halfway through my Stranger Things rewatch, the scene where the lights start flickering and the tension climbs, when my sister barged into my room like the Demogorgon itself. No knocking, no warning, just boom, door swings open and she's standing there with that look. The one that says she's about to start unnecessary drama just because the universe gifted her vocal cords. She scanned the screen, rolled her eyes so hard I swear I heard a tendon snap, and said, "Are you seriously watching this childish nonsense again?" I didn't even look away. Yes, actually, it's called minding my business. You should try it. But she wasn't done. She walked in, crossed her arms, and launched into a monologue like she was auditioning for a villain role. "You're such a fool for getting obsessed with a show about kids fighting imaginary monsters. Honestly, how do you even enjoy this? It's so simple. No depth, no complexity, nothing mature." She smirked. "I swear, your taste is embarrassing." The worst part? She sat on the edge of my bed and continued watching, not because she wanted to, but because she wanted to judge it in real time, like a live hate watch commentary. "Look at this," she scoffed. "This is what you spend hours on? I can't believe it. I watch real content. Documentaries. Crime dramas. Things that actually make sense." I pressed pause. "If you hate it so much, why are you still here?" "Because I'm trying to understand," she replied, all performative innocence. "Trying to see what kind of person gets emotionally invested in this." She waved her hand at the screen like she was shooing away flies. I took a deep breath and turned back to my laptop, hoping she'd run out of steam. But no, she had more fuel than Hawkins National Lab. "Honestly," she said, "I'm the only mature one in this house. At least I have good taste. That's why I basically control the Netflix account. Someone has to maintain standards." That's when I looked at her, slow, deliberate, and said, "You do realize I pay for the Netflix account, right?" She blinked like she hadn't considered that part. "Yeah, but I mean, I use it more," she said, brushing it off. "So it's kind of like mine too." The audacity. The sheer Olympic-level gymnastic flip of logic. She kept going, dissecting the plot, insulting characters, mocking the acting, all while sitting on my bed, eating my snacks, using my Wi-Fi, and trash-talking my show. At this point, she was basically a parasite with opinions. And then she delivered the final blow, loud and confident, like she wanted the whole building to hear. "I swear, you're just a fool with bad taste. Good thing you have me to keep your watching habits under control. If someone else logged into that account and saw what you watch, embarrassing." I froze. It wasn't even the insult. It was the way she said it, like she was doing me a favor, like she was the self-appointed CEO of entertainment in our home. I pointed at the door. "Okay, leave." She laughed, like I'd told her she should move out. "Oh, please, don't be dramatic," she said, waving her hand. "I'm going. I just hope you grow up and stop watching cartoons." She walked out smiling like she'd just accomplished something noble. I sat there staring at the paused screen, jaw clenched. I replayed her words in my head. Fool. Embarrassing. I control the Netflix. Good thing I have good taste. It wasn't about the show anymore. It wasn't even about the insults. It was the pride, the entitlement, the way she talked like she owned something she didn't pay a single rupee for, the way she'd sauntered out with that victorious grin. That was the moment something inside me clicked. I didn't know what I was going to do yet, but one thing was certain. My sister had absolutely no idea the little Netflix empire she bragged about was built on my password. And I was about to remind her exactly who held the throne. I woke up the next morning still irritated, the way you feel when someone steps on your shoe in a crowd and doesn't apologize. But in this case, it wasn't my shoe, it was my dignity. And instead of a stranger, it was my own sister, proudly marching around like the queen of our shared Netflix kingdom. I tried to shake it off. Made tea. Sat on the edge of my bed, scrolling my phone. For a moment, I felt normal, calm, almost ready to let it go. Then my phone buzzed. The family group chat was exploding, and right there, in the middle of the chaos, my sister had posted a picture of my paused Stranger Things screen with the caption, "Look what this fool watches at her big age." 3 laughing emojis. No mercy. Then she added, "Imagine paying for Netflix just to watch cartoons." My blood pressure rose like a microwave popcorn bag swelling for explosion. She wasn't just making fun of my taste. She wasn't just mocking the show. She was mocking me, broadcasting it to every aunt, uncle, cousin, and relative who loved unnecessary drama. I typed, "Are you done?" but deleted it. I typed again, "You're obsessed with me, clearly." Deleted again. Instead, I just muted the chat, because if I replied, she'd twist it into, "Look how sensitive she is." She lived for that kind of power. I put my phone down, trying to stay calm. But then, another notification popped up. This time from my cousin Zara. Why does she call it her Netflix account? Isn't it yours? I stared at that message, chest suddenly warm with validation. My sister responded instantly, "Lol, I use it more, so basically it's mine now." Basically. As if usage rights override payment. I read that line 3 times, and that's when something inside me snapped. Quietly, peacefully, beautifully. Like a light bulb moment, but with pettiness dripping from every watt. I opened the Netflix app. I clicked account. I looked at that familiar email and password, and a smile crept across my face. A dangerous smile, the kind that should come with background music. I whispered to myself, "Basically yours? Huh?" I clicked change password. New password? Grown-ups watch whatever one. Then Netflix asked, "Sign out of all devices?" Normally I'd say no, but this time I hit yes so hard I'm sure Netflix felt it in their head office. In an instant, every device connected to my account, her phone, her TV, her tablet, her boyfriend's TV she wasn't supposed to use, all kicked out like unwelcome guests at closing time. I sat back and stretched like I just finished yoga. But I wasn't done. Because sometimes revenge is a dish, and sometimes it's a buffet. I clicked into the profiles, selected hers, renamed it from user 2 to adults only, no fools allowed. Then I changed the icon to the silliest, most childish one available, a bright pink cartoon unicorn with sparkles. My soul felt lighter, airier, therapeutic even. And right then, as if the universe had scheduled it perfectly, I heard her scream from the living room. "Why is the Netflix logging me out? Hello? Why is it asking for a password?" I smirked. The meltdown had begun. She stomped into the hallway, yelling at the Wi-Fi, at the TV, at the universe. Then she shouted my name like she was summoning a demon. I stayed silent, waiting, savoring the moment like the first bite of hot fries, because she still thought this was a glitch. She had no idea a shadowy figure, me, had struck in silence. She stormed toward my room, heavy, rapid footsteps, a full sibling rage walk. I looked at my reflection in my laptop screen, calm, unbothered, like royalty sipping tea before war. My sister had mocked me, embarrassed me, belittled me, and acted like she owned something she never paid for. Now she was about to learn a simple truth. Playing stupid games always wins you stupid prizes. And the prize I prepared was just beginning to unwrap itself. Say the word. Her footsteps came pounding down the hallway like she was preparing to deliver a TED Talk on rage. Then, bang, 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 she started knocking on my door like she was the landlord and rent was overdue. "Open this right now!" I calmly minimized my Netflix settings screen, adjusted my hoodie, and opened the door with the serenity of someone who had already won. She barged in without waiting, phone in hand, eyes wide with panic and fury mixed into one explosive potion. "Why is the Netflix not working? Why is it saying password incorrect? Why am I logged out of every device?" She waved her phone near my face like she wanted to swat me with it. I blinked at her slowly. Weird. Maybe the account is too childish to support your mature taste. Her jaw dropped so fast you could have measured the velocity. "This isn't funny," she snapped. "Fix it." I leaned against my desk chair. "Fix what?" "The Netflix. The password isn't working. It keeps blocking me, and someone renamed my profile to..." She froze mid-sentence, eyes widening with horror. "Adults only. No fools allowed?" She looked at me like I had personally committed war crimes. "That's so rude," she sputtered. "Why would you do that? Do you not realize I had a whole show queued up? I was 4 episodes away from finishing my series." I shrugged. "Maybe you should have watched it on the Netflix account you think you basically own." Her ears turned red. "I didn't mean it like that. I was joking. You posted it in the family group chat." Her eyes shifted, calculating. Then she scoffed. "That was just teasing. You're taking it personally for no reason." "No reason?" I repeated, raising an eyebrow. "You called me a fool, mocked my taste, embarrassed me publicly, and acted like you're the CEO of an account I pay for." She opened her mouth to argue, but nothing came out. For once, she had no clever comeback, no snarky line prepared. "So yeah," I continued, "I changed the password." She inhaled like she was about to unleash the speech. "You're so petty," she screamed. You're literally ruining my night. You know how long I've been waiting to watch the season finale? Huh? Do you? Maybe try watching something else, I said lightly. Something mature. She stomped around my room like a frustrated toddler, muttering things under her breath in a dramatic monologue. I can't believe this. She's actually insane. All this over a joke. Who does that? Then she whipped around. Give me the password. No, I said. She froze like I had slapped her. No? What do you mean no? You have to give it. Mom said. I cut her off. I don't care what Mom said. The account is mine. And you don't get to insult me, then demand access. Her voice cracked from rage. I didn't demand. I just mentioned, ugh. She threw her hands in the air. You're ruining everything. Do you know how stressful my day was? This was my relaxation time. And you snatched it away. I folded my arms. Maybe now you understand how I felt when you mocked the one thing that relaxes me. She blinked rapidly, lips trembling like she wanted to cry but wasn't ready to give me the satisfaction. You're so dramatic, she whispered. You started a drama, I replied. I'm just giving the season finale. That hit her. I saw it. She took a shaky breath, then stomped out of my room and slammed the door behind her. The entire hallway shook. I heard her scream into a pillow like she was recording a soundtrack for a horror movie. For the next hour, the meltdown continued. Doors slamming, cabinets banging, passive-aggressive sighing, the works. At one point, she yelled from the living room, "This is emotional abuse!" I couldn't help laughing. Later, I heard her calling cousins for moral support, except every cousin said the same thing. But isn't the account hers? The silence on her end was delicious. By midnight, she was defeated. Angry, bitter, pacing in circles, but defeated. She still hadn't apologized. She still hadn't acknowledged what she did. But she finally understood one thing. I wasn't scared of her tantrums anymore. And she wasn't getting back into Netflix without going through me. By the next morning, the house felt like a war zone during a ceasefire. Quiet, but tense. My sister wasn't speaking. Not to me, not to anyone. She stomped around making extra noise, slamming drawers, aggressively stirring her tea, sighing like her lungs were auditioning for a dramatic film role. Classic. I want attention, but I also want to pretend I don't care behavior. I sipped my own tea like royalty. Around noon, she finally cracked. She stood by my door, pretending she wasn't standing by my door. She shuffled, cleared her throat, then stomped away again, came back, stood again, repeat. This went on for 5 full minutes. Finally, I opened the door. She spun around like she just happened to be passing by. Oh, she said flatly, you're awake. I've been awake for hours. She clicked her tongue. Right. The silence stretched. Then it came, her pathetic attempt at manipulation. So, she started, staring at the wall instead of my face. Yesterday I had a stressful day, and maybe I said some things, and maybe you took it wrong, and maybe, possibly, you overreacted. I stared at her. She was apologizing without apologizing, like always. Try again, I said. Her nose flared. What? Try again. That wasn't an apology. That was a salad of excuses sprinkled with zero accountability. Her eye twitched. Why are you like this? Because I've evolved, I said proudly. Now I only accept premium apologies. She crossed her arms and leaned against the wall dramatically. Fine. She took a breath. Whatever. I'm sorry. For what? I asked. She narrowed her eyes. Don't push it. I'm not unlocking Netflix until you say it clearly. She inhaled sharply through her nose like she was summoning patience from the depths of her soul. I'm sorry for calling you a fool, she said through gritted teeth, and for posting it in the group chat, and for acting like the account was mine, and for mocking your show. Happy? Shockingly, it was an actual apology. Chaotic, reluctant, strained, but real enough. I nodded. Better. So now can I have the password back? She asked, voice cracking with desperation like a dehydrated traveler begging for water. Not yet, I said. Her jaw dropped. What now? We need terms. Terms, she repeated, staring at me like I was negotiating a hostage exchange. Yes, if you want access again, we're doing this properly. I grabbed a notebook and flipped it open dramatically like a lawyer preparing a contract. Term number 1, no mocking what I watch. Ever, even if I start watching Teletubbies. She made a strangled noise but nodded. Term 2, you don't rename my profiles. Not even as a joke. Another nod. Term 3, you stop acting like paying for oxygen gives you ownership of my Netflix account. She rolled her eyes. Fine. And term 4, I added, If you ever insult me over TV shows again, you'll be logged out faster than the opening credits. Her shoulders slumped. Okay, I agree. Just give me the password. I studied her for a long second. She wasn't angry anymore. She was defeated, humbled, and slightly traumatized by her temporary separation from Netflix. I handed her a sticky note with the password. Her eyes lit up like Christmas. That's it? She asked. That's it, I said. She practically sprinted out of my room, mumbling, Finally! Like she'd just been released from captivity. A few minutes later, I heard her TV log in successfully. Then the sweetest sound of all, her relieved sigh. Peace settled over the house again. No insults. No mocking. No superiority complex. Just silence, and the faint sound of her binge-watching in the other room. I walked back to my laptop, opened Stranger Things, and hit play. For the first time in days, I watched in complete peace. My sister got her precious Netflix back. I got my dignity back. And somewhere between the opening credits and the first line of dialogue, I smiled. Because, in the end, she learned the most important lesson of all. You don't mess with the person who controls the passwords.